Hopefully everybody can hear me. Let's give a minute or two for some people to come in. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Let's give it a couple of minutes. Let me sip my coffee. Buenos dias. Hello, everybody. Lovely day out today, nice and cool. That'll change later in the afternoon, but still, it's cooler than usual in the morning here. Only 84 degrees. Looks like it's going to rain in a little while, though. There are some black clouds moving in. And there is a 20% chance of rain. It's been raining the last couple of days. So, it's good. We're here now. We're in the rainy season. At least the beginning of it. Anyway, we got who's working here today. We got Creo and the manager, Mr. Ken. The big boss is here today. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on in the U.S. Obviously not a good situation. First we're going to talk about the weather. I already said it was a lovely day, 84 degrees, high of 93, low of 80 degrees. The feel-like temperature is 95 degrees, 76% humidity, which is the killer. I sound muffled. Do I sound muffled to everybody? If I do, I'll have to change my headphones. All right, hang on. These headphones are, you know what? These are made in China for sure. I've had them for a while. Hang on. And I don't really like them. All right, let's see here. Oops. Here, that should be better. Hopefully that works. Looks better. Good. Yeah, you know, my kid I bought these right here. I don't know, they're no name. You know, they cost me like $14, $13. Not even $13, $12. And you know, I noticed right away the battery time is not very good. And my kid got some, and he paid about $15 for them. Got them from Lazada, which means they're probably Chinese anyway. And his are great. They last like 4 or 5 hours. So, yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't feel like paying that kind of money. Listen, you know, I don't have anything against Apple. I like their products and everything, but I refuse to pay for some of the things that they offer. I mean, you want an electrical cord for the laptop? I checked it the other day. Here in Thailand, it's about $80. I mean, I'm like, $80 for an electrical cord? Are you kidding me? Just to plug in the laptop? All stores are not shut down. Stores are open here. Are you talking about back in the U.S.? Well, I don't blame them for being shut down. I mean, what do you expect? You don't want to be inside if somebody's trying to burn the place down. So, you know, I was saying it yesterday, and I didn't want to come off the wrong way because I don't think it's proper for a police officer to put his knee on somebody's neck when the guy is, the guy was not, he should have had some kind of feeling as to whether the guy was playing games or not. He wasn't playing games. He really needed air. You could tell that. Now, what I didn't know yesterday or day before when I did the stream is that the officer held him down for 9 minutes with his knee. 9 minutes. And the guy's handcuffed. So it's inexcusable. They need to throw the book at these police officers, not just the guy who had his knee rather, on his neck, but all the officers that were there were complicit. They all had a part in it, and just standing around watching, you know, and not doing enough to say, hey, listen, man, lift up a little bit. I got him, or something like that. And here's the other thing. I hate to say this, but what happened with George Floyd? This is more than just George Floyd. Well, whether he had a rap sheet or not makes no difference. It really makes no difference. He did his time. He was out. Okay? That shouldn't factor in, oh, we're going to hold him down a little bit more because he might be dangerous. You had him in handcuffs. How much more do you need to do? Okay, you know, put some ankle cuffs on. Alexander, you're spouting off a lot of nonsense, man. Really, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear all this nonsense, please. Well, it's a hit. Maybe, but you don't know this. So until you know this, you really don't have the right to say that. You know, you can think what you want, but I mean, what he did in the past is what he did in the past. He did his time, and it's simple as that. What are you going to do? If you're going to put somebody in jail and say, you're out now, you abide by your parole. Yeah, I live in Thailand, but I'm an American who lived in America for a large portion of my life. So please, you know, what do you think? You think I don't know things that go on? Come on, man. I'm getting reports from my friends who I know from Hong Kong and I know from the United States, all kinds of reports, many of them who are photographers and journalists. I know journalists in Denver who, one girl got pelted with pepper bullets, and I just don't have the patience for this guy. Big deal. I don't care if you lived in Thailand, great. So what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Jesus Christ, I got no patience for this bullshit today. She got hit by several rubber bullets and pepper spray bullets. And those pepper spray bullets are hard. And that pepper spray, what the pepper spray bullets do, as opposed to, say, getting sprayed directly, is it's very dry. So you don't think about it right at first. You're just kind of like, oh, it doesn't feel good. Then all of a sudden you start coughing, and it's not a pleasant experience. And it lingers. It's not real harsh, but it lingers. And she said that there were people, and she wasn't sure if they were police or not, who were driving by and shooting. She thought it was a police vehicle. And she's about as straight as they come, okay? Well, I don't doubt that it is some kind of an attempt to take down Trump or make the U.S. government look bad. I don't know what the reasoning is for it, but what I do know is what I've heard and from several news sources and what my friends have told me. A lot of people are getting shot that are journalists by the police. Now, I don't know what the point of that is. Maybe they feel threatened, but journalists have the right to report on what's going on as long as they're not getting in the way of the police. And protesters have the right to protest. As long as they're not blocking off roads without, you know, if they are going to do something like that, if they're going to have a march, then they usually need permits or something like that. So, but that is a separate matter. Unfortunately, it's a consequence of what's going on with police officers killing people, whether inadvertently or not. I said it the other day, if the perception is that white officers are killing blacks, and the blacks believe this, then don't be surprised when they stand up for themselves, because they've tried to protest. They have tried to protest. He does not and won't condemn it. I mean, you know, anybody remotely human understands that, okay, if the guy did something wrong, whether it's a $20 forged check or a $20,000 forged check, and he's laying on his stomach and he's handcuffed, then, and there's police all around, the chance of him getting away is slim. Okay? So if somebody puts their knee on his neck, I'm just saying in general, if somebody was to do that to another human being, you would think, what the hell are you doing? But see, it seems to me, and I've noticed this now, that some of the police are acting as if they have the right to do anything they want. And this is exactly how the Hong Kong police, this is exactly how they act. They do what they want, and then they say, yeah, the government says, yeah, we need to look into this, and then nothing ever happens, okay? And that's what bothers me. It really bothers me to see this. And I'm sitting over here, you know, and I almost feel guilty because I'm not there with a camera, because I'm not in Hong Kong, really. And I'm like, why would I feel guilty? You know, I don't have any of this, what do they call it? White guilt, or what do they call it? White privilege. I don't feel like I have any of the white privilege. Everything I have in my house and in my life is because, first of all, because my parents raised me to live my life a certain way, but also because I've earned it, one way or the other. I understand that he's done quite a few things in the past. He's done, you know, maybe he's made some bad decisions. Maybe he's not a good guy. That doesn't give a cop the right to kill him. And, you know, I'll tell you something. I saw, but, you know, here's the other thing on the other side. Well, let me get into this slowly. Rioters are different than protesters. We have to remember that. And many of these people are not from the local community. They are not from, say, Minneapolis. Well, armed robbery, I mean, think about it. You come from a family that you have no money, and you know you don't know what you're going to do with your life, and maybe you need money for something, whatever you may think, however important or unimportant it may truly be. And somebody goes, you know what? Listen, I'll tell you what. If there was a game you could play where you could go in and try to rob a bank and get away with it, but you know that it was a game, so you wouldn't go to jail, I would take part in that game. But I'm smart enough to know I ain't ever going to rob a bank because I know I'll get caught and I know the consequences. But for some people, that long shot is all they have. So whatever. I mean, that's you know, okay, he did it. Rioters, they seem to be, you know, they could be Antifa. I don't know. So it's being said. But even the looting, it's inexcusable. Just as inexcusable as anything else. You can't say that that you can get away with burning down police buildings, burning down banks, burning down whatever. You just can't do that because you're still violating law. The laws are there for a reason. Yeah, I mean, a bad decision, okay, that's a nice way of putting it, all right? But all due to the breakdown of family, over 70%. You know, all is a big word. I'm not going to say it's all because of the family problems. There are plenty of single families that they come out okay. And that's the thing. Targeting businesses. I mean, what about, I've said this yesterday, what about the fireman who worked his whole life, he bought himself a bar, and I know a couple guys who they took every bit of money that they had to buy a bar. That bar broke even, and they were okay because they had their friends coming in. It was a place to get together. They had pensions. They were okay, right? That's what this guy wanted. Guess what they did? They burned it all down. Now, he did get some GoFundMe money to start another one up, which is, you know, fortunate for him and everything. But the fact is you can't just go around burning, raping, and pillaging and then not expect to get shot or arrested or whatever it may be. So, I mean, I don't see that, like, listen, Longhorns, I don't know if he's here or he's just whatever he's doing. No, I don't think that Trump, Puya, I don't really think that Trump wants to set America on fire. And I think that if you, first of all, those words are from 50 years ago from a police chief. He didn't make that up himself. And here's the thing. If people are out robbing and taking advantage of this situation and rioting, then, you know, what do you expect them to do? That's the problem. The police are just going to stand back and just, well, we're going to hit you with some pepper spray. There are guys out there, they got masks on. They don't care about some pepper spray. Let me tell you something. If you get hit with like some pepper balls, it's not pleasant, but you'll get through it. Tear gas, you got a mask on, you get through it. Some of these guys, you know, so I think that, I think that, you know, what Trump said, Trump is not a good speaker. I will admit that. He's a blundering, blubbering idiot when he speaks. If you ever notice, he'll say things twice quite often, as if to reaffirm it in his own head or to try to get people. I don't know if that's a speaking tactic to get people to listen and to hear you better. I don't know. Hear, you know, comprehend what you're saying better. I don't know. But he always does that. But he's got a habit of saying things he shouldn't say. He needs to keep his mouth shut most of the time. Say positive things. Really, right now, what he needs to say, and I saw what he said earlier, a few hours ago. He needs to keep it positive. We will not allow this to happen. And he even mentioned the A word, anarchy, which I was surprised. A little bit surprised. Now, I do have some notes, but I think what this boils down to is people have lost trust. And this is more than George Floyd, because not only have they lost trust with the police, they've also lost trust with many people have lost trust in their government. Okay? And they know, I know you want to be here to take pictures, videos, but with wife and kids, would you really want to be here? Just curious. You know, I ask myself that all the time, Carl. Because maybe it's a little selfish to do that, you know. And then I tell myself, well, you know, my wife's capable of taking care of herself. The kids are at that point now. You know, it's like, I know they want me in their life, but it's something I've done for quite some time now. I don't always take those kind of risks. So would it be great to go and do that? You know, people are cautious all the time and they get killed. So I'd say probably it's not worth it. Financially, I can tell you it wouldn't be worth it. I know you want. How would this be handled if it happened in Hong Kong? They'd be doing the same thing. They'd be doing the same. It's exactly it's the same thing, except when they do riot, or you could call it a riot. They do vandalize businesses in Hong Kong, but they direct their aggression and their vandalizing towards businesses that are pro-communists. Us watching your stream is better than them watching your stream. Us watching your stream is better than them watching your stream. Probably. I don't think they've ever watched more than a minute or two of some video footage that I have. They don't watch my stuff. Unless the kids will if I ask them to, but my wife almost never watches anything I do. I don't think my mother even watches most of the time now. You know. Well, why are they focusing on the protesters? No, this is the thing with Hong Kongers, okay? Then there's a big difference. The looters, the protesters, while they may, the protesters, we'll call them protesters, they may vandalize pro-CCP businesses, but they're not stealing. They may break in and trash the place, but they will not steal. I've never seen anybody steal, and I know other people that have been covering what's going on there, and they haven't seen that either. In the United States, I see these idiots. They break into a place and they're running around. I saw a girl yesterday dancing around in the street because she was so happy for some reason. She thought this was cool. And I was like, what the I mean, why are you so happy? We got them. No, you didn't get them. You didn't get them. Because in the end, they're going to win. Physically, violently, they will win. The way to address it is, if you're going to do it violently, then you better organize and you better really think about what you're doing. But they're not in that position right now. If the United States government wants to stifle this, they will trounce these people in the streets. And if they really wanted to, they could just say, listen, curfew, 72-hour curfew, don't be out on the streets, you're going to get shot. Yeah, there is a difference, obviously, between protesters. And, yeah, of course there's stuff like that happens in Thailand. I've been here for at least two, maybe three, I think. I'm not sure about the first one, but 2006, 2014, there were coup attempts, or coup d'etats, rather. And I was involved in one, what was it? Was it 2014? No, 2006. Not involved as in part of the protest, but I was there photographing what was going on. We have a curfew from 8 to 5:30, yes. And I think Longhorns told me in his neck of the woods, it's 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Last night's looters were busting up things in Scottsville. A jewelry store had peeps with shotgun waiting for them. Yeah, and then they became peaceful protesters. And this is the thing. What are you going to do? You're going to let them just run rampant? Listen, you know, I understand it's not the best thing to say, hey, you know, if you start looting, we're shooting you. But guess what? Some of these people, they're not, I don't know if it's because they're so frustrated with life or frustrated with the way they're treated or what it is, but they don't care. So Puya, if you were standing there or you were driving by or something and you had a bunch of people surrounding your car, smashing your car, and you're in fear for your life, what alternative would the police have if they had, say, a dozen police officers and there's a dozen of them and they're not moving and the police, you know, okay, they can taser them, but that doesn't always work. They can hit them with billy clubs, but people take the billy clubs away. You know, if you say, hey, you stop or I'll shoot, people go, oh. Most people with half a brain, not that some of these people really have half a brain, but most people will say, hey, you know what, man? I don't want to get shot. You know. This is the other thing. Is that one thing that I've been saying, yes, Sasha, very good. Police, people unemployed, cooped up and bored, and then you get bad news. what I was going to say, I said this is not about George Floyd. This is about far more than this. And this goes beyond Trump even. Far before Trump. This has been going on for, a couple generations. It's not just about race. It's about disintegrating, I don't know. I think, I've said it before, I think he can act in a more presidential fashion. He needs to, one thing that strikes me is if you treat people with dignity, you may not get it from everybody, but guess what? Those who wise up, even the ones who don't respond the same way, usually will come around and say, you know what? Hey, this guy, I remember how he made me feel, and he didn't make me feel like I was a total piece of shit. I think he needs to carry himself in a different manner. But I think sometimes, listen, one thing, and I've learned this and seen this firsthand, you can try to talk to somebody, and you can try to reason with them. But let's say that they're a thief. You can try to go, hey, buddy, listen, why don't you give me my watch back? That'd be really nice. Okay, sometimes people will go, hey, I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I'll give it back to you. That doesn't usually happen. Or the person goes, listen, you know what? Just take my watch if you need it that bad. Some people have worked for a long time to get their watch or whatever it might be, right? Now, if the guy's standing in front of you and he's like, nah, I'm not giving you the watch back, and you crack him, you elbow him in the face and you knock him out and you take your watch back, maybe the next time he's not going to be so apt to take somebody's watch. What I mean is that sometimes people respect violence, but they don't respect the rule of law. They do respect getting shot with with a 44 or with a shotgun. Somebody comes to my house and they get shot with a shotgun, if they break in, hey man, you're asking for it, Or you get hit in the head with a baseball bat, you're asking for it. Water cannons would be effective, but only if they have everything cordoned off, and only, if it doesn't seem like the police are very efficient from what I've seen. I mean, this has been going on for how many days? Something like 5-6 days now. But I think that basically what it is that the people no longer trust that they're going to have a better life. And I think that in itself is a harsh pill to swallow. Well, one thing I saw today on, and I'm going to put this on my website later tonight, I saw something about how, the very prison system and everything is set up so that if you do wrong for something, the way that it is if you do wrong, you're not forgiven, you're not helped along, you're not helped to have a better life. Many of these people, it's like throw away the key, and and then they have no way out, and nobody wants to hire them. And so, I'm not trying to sound like, I'm changing teams. I'm looking at both sides, but imagine you're some guy, you grow up, you're a kid, you grow up, and you got no other option but to deal drugs. You get caught, you go to jail. Now you get out of jail, nobody wants to hire you. You're working at McDonald's, you got a wife, which, okay, you don't have to get married, you don't have to have a kid, but let's say you do. It's not only the legal system, it's everything. It's the prison system, the legal system, the White House, the people. Listen, who brought it up to me yesterday? I don't even remember who it was. It could have been Longhorns, could have been Richard, could have been somebody. I don't know. Why is it that these corporations are getting bailed out and they're getting billions and billions of dollars, and then the American public is getting crumbs? Now, I'm not saying they need to stop working. This is the onus is on the people also to work and to say, hey, listen, let's remember something. We're not entitled to shit. But right now we're in a tough spot. We need to get that loan, because that's what it is, because in the end the taxpayers are going to pay, right? We need to get that loan. You need to give the people 3 months or something, whatever it is. And yet, $1,200, think about something. $1,200 is a pittance to most families in America. It's nothing. Now, some people are going to be getting unemployment, and that definitely helps, and the $1,200 helps. Okay, great. You don't want to bankrupt the country. So it's got to be paid back. But guess who's going to pay it back? The people are going to pay it back. This is such a complex issue that, like, I try to figure it out and dissect it, and there's like 1,000 moving parts, which I'm sure that that's, yeah, your taxpayer dollars will be paying for the police vehicles. They'll be paying to build another police building, to fortify a certain police station, you know. And let me tell you something. I've been in I was in the protest. It was 2014. I saw the protest. I was near them. But in 2006, I was in the middle of them. Now in Thailand, it's been tame, generally very tame. But back in 1980, just before I graduated high school, there were riots in Liberty City and Opelika in Florida. And that's about a half an hour from my house. And everywhere in the vicinity was, you know, on edge. And then I was in LA when things broke down after the Rodney King beating and verdict. These kind of things, the violence by the rioters isn't justifiable, and it doesn't solve any problem. It provides no progress. All it does is get citizens who are like, you know, like, listen, me, like, and I can tell you, me, my wife, and my kids, we're not going out in the middle of some riot. What would we go out in the middle of a riot for? You know, I'm sorry, I wouldn't do it. I can't see any reason I would do it. Protest? I've never protested in my life. Now, would I? Depending on the cause, yes. Riot? No. So, once you go out and you start doing this, it just gets everybody fired up, and the next thing you know, you got hundreds of people. Now look at it, it's spread all over the United States. This is going to add several months to the economy recovery time from COVID. You were in LA. Oh. I need to think about what I was going to say. Oh, the COVID. Well, I mean, so much for staying at home and social distancing. He goes, look at all these places now. And I can tell you that the Chinese government, the Iranian government, the North Korean government, even the Russians, they're laughing at us now. They're laughing at the people in America and laughing at our government. You know, they're looking at it going, these guys can't even, they can't even not fight between themselves. So how are they going to fight us? You know, I mean, think about it. And, you know, they're in the White House. At the White House, they're rushing the president down into the bunker. You know. Well, I'm not going to be crying. China is streaming these protests 24/7, and if some Chinese cop did this, to a Chinese citizen, they wouldn't be reported. Well, let me tell you something. The police in Hong Kong do not like the journalists. They don't even like somebody like me who is standing there with an iPhone or a camera who is saying, Yeah, well, you sound like me. Welcome home. You sound like me, but guess what? It's been reported by several news agencies, including Chinese news agencies that are neutral, not connected with. They're not state media. So yeah, I wasn't there. I don't know what all the Chinese. Of course, you can't stereotype and say all the people are doing this and all of them are doing that. But the point is it's not a good look for the United States when we can't even get along and solve our problems without rioting in the streets. So you can believe whatever you want, though. You know, the one thing they can't do at this point is control what you think. They haven't put the chip in yet to stifle your thinking and alter your thinking. But that day may come. And I think people are worried about that kind of thing. And I was under the impression that most police officers wear video cameras. So if they don't, yes, I have. If they don't, why not? If they have the money to surveil cities and surveil people everywhere, then they ought to have the money for the police officers to be surveilled. Because if you're going to surveil the public, you need to surveil the authorities as well. Because that's one of the tenets of freedom and the way that our country is run. What is this? Yes, we know that. We know that now. I remember that now. Poor people in American cities have smartphones, new clothes, food, electric, and a place to live. Yeah, here's the thing, though. They have that right now, but because of the COVID, because of what's been going on, I think they're under a lot of pressure. And like I said, $1,200 isn't going to help. You think some of these people have large families? They think everything is. You distracted me. They're fine until something major happens, and they're out of work for 6 months or a year. Which lovely baristas are working the espresso machines today? Mook and Beer? No. Ken and Preo. Let's see here. Poor people in the U.S. live better than 90% of the middle class in countries like India. Okay, so what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? We're not talking about what's going on in India. It's a completely different matter. I mean, I've always said, hey, we should be grateful for what we have because, and listen, I get depressed about this shit. I get bummed out. I would go, man, this is sad. What are human beings coming to? But at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, you know what? I can't always worry about that. Sometimes I have to just take a step back, take a deep, and I suggest people do this too. And I've done it, and I do it every once in a while. That's why I'm doing it this weekend. Because you got to take a step away sometimes and go, hey, listen, I got a roof over my head. I got food on the table. We have our health. And I'll tell you something, the health issue is something that people should really worry about because if you can't get into a hospital, you're in deep doo-doo. Or you got you got these people protesting or rioting and looting and things are going off and you can't get, ambulances can't get to you. You can't drive through. Then what are you going to do? It's just well, they're already, yes, Antifa is a domestic terrorist group. what good do they do? You know, what good do they really do? But I would like to see what, only in California they don't shoot looters. I don't know. Listen, I don't think you should just straight away shoot a looter. I don't think that that's necessarily the right way, but I think you need to tell people there's a very good chance that you may get shot, because if there's a lot of looters around and there's only a handful of police, and the police start coming under pressure from these people, you know, they're stuck in their police cars or something, or people trying to light their cars on fire with them in them, you know. I have no sympathy for people who are poor in the United States who can't get their shit together unless they're either mentally or physically handicapped. Well, yeah, I don't know if having no sympathy is the right way to go about thinking of it. There are people that they don't have the motivation. I don't know, you know. I mean, it comes down to living within your means. But you have a lot of opportunities in the United States that you don't have elsewhere. Listen, if I wasn't an American, I probably, you know, or a Brit or somebody from a first world country, or somewhere, say, in Europe or Canada, North America, whatever, I wouldn't have the freedom to just come into Thailand and stay and, you know, work so easily. It'd be a pain in the ass if I was like, well, I don't know. I was going to say Indian, but no, not Indian. If you loot in, is that what she said? So why is nobody bringing that up now? Nobody brings up what Maxine Waters says. All right, listen, I haven't said this, but thank you all for joining the watching the stream and everything, helping support the channel. Who was I going to give a shout out today? Man, I can't remember. Oh, Mr. Uber. Mr. Uber. Mr. Goober. You ought to know who I'm talking about. Okay, I'll give you a shout out, Soy Dog Cowboy. Shout out to Soy Dog Cowboy. Shout out to everybody. I got, you know, I used to have a list, and I don't know what happened to it. But, you know, it takes up a lot more time to go through every single person. But thank you very much for helping, and any kind of help you want to watch, that's fine. You want to go to my Amazon site or Amazon in general, there's a link in the description. There's, you know, the more traditional route. You buy a book, buy a t-shirt, and then there's always, you know, Patreon, YouTube now. YouTube not only has Super Chat, but they have the membership button, which is down below, that says join, PayPal, CASHAPP, Bitcoin. I mean, I wish they just come up with one now. This is how everybody gets paid. Like, everybody gets paid in Bitcoin now. It'd make it that much easier, but, you know, people want to make money from taking money. So that's why they got all these different companies. But anyway, let's just move on here from that. So what if you grow poor or not? We were poor, it didn't bother me. You know, like my mother used to tell me, yeah, it depends on the country you're in, Martin. Super Chat's not available everywhere, unfortunately. I don't know about the membership for YouTube. I don't know about that. I know Patreon takes from just about everywhere. If you're in the US, I don't know. I don't know why you're not. I don't know why you're getting an error, because I have people from the United States super chat me all the time. But thank you anyway. Here in Los Angeles, illegitimacy is rewarded. Thank you, Soy Dog Cowboy, very much. You see that little smile I had? Thank you. Unwed mothers are given welfare money for every child they have had, and women here work the system like you wouldn't believe. Well, that's another thing. You know, I mean, Now, what are you going to do? You're going to stop giving these people money just straight away and say, hey, you're not getting any money anymore, and let them starve? You're going to have more homeless? I mean, what are you going to do? This is the thing. You have to think all these things out. Jesus Christ, I can't believe how complicated this is. It works for Mr. Whitey, Mighty Whitey. Yes, it does. I mean, there are so many. I just was thinking about it, and it's such a complex matter, you know. Thank you, Mighty Whitey. Thank you very much. There's so many issues. I mean, think about it. You just the party system alone in politics. And I'll tell you something. My knowledge, I admit this. I know enough to get myself in trouble about many, many things. There's a few things I know a lot about. Like I know a pretty fair amount about boxing, you know, and about travel, these kind of things. Yeah, I mean, I understand, Gennaro. It's like 2 generations deep. Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, I mean, they have the same problem in the UK. You know, it's like, what was that show that they used to have? What are they? It's something like about being on the dole. Thank you, Martin. Well, now it works. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. All right. Good start to the month, eh? Have you seen a YouTube video with a woman who lives in a motel with her 13 kids telling the government who is going to support her kids? Yeah, so, okay, so what do you do for that woman? That's a good example. You got a woman with 13 kids. Now, I don't know how old they are, but you would think that some of them would get old enough. They'd start working, bringing money into the family, even if they're working at a grocery store. Okay, Benjamin, I saw it the first time. Thank you. I don't know what you're getting at, but thank you. I'll take a look. There are whole neighborhoods of single mothers and multiple. Now, here's another thing. While the trust has decreased over the years for authorities and for the police, and I admit, I don't trust the government. I don't trust big business. And I've only had one real issue with a cop, and that was in jail. And I had got into a fight. I was about 21 years old. I got into a fight in a bar. This guy jumped my buddy. My buddy said something to him, and the guy didn't like it, and the guy hit him. So I hit him, and I hit him a bunch of times, and then we scampered off. And somehow when we were walking, and they got me. They locked me up, and I had to spend a weekend in jail. They just dropped the charges. It was just it was like a little brawl on the street, but they didn't continue with it. But I was in jail, and then the guy wanted the correctional officer wanted to put me in a cell, and the guys in the cell were like, "No, he's a white boy. We don't want him in here." And I was like, "You can't put me in here, man." I was like, "These guys are gonna beat the hell out of me, right?" He slammed me up against the wall. He's like, "You're going in there." I was like, "All right, well, it's one. I have to take one problem at a time." And fortunately things were okay. But I haven't had any problems with the cops, really. But when it comes to the cops, I mean, I don't generally back talk. I don't do any of that stuff, and I'm white. If you want me to say that, I'll say it, whether it makes a difference or not. Okay. Here, I don't know that it makes any difference. Depends. I guess it depends on the cop. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. What do you do for that woman? I don't want to talk about me. We'll talk about this issue. What are you going to do for her? What are you going to do for her that's going to help her? Because you can't just let her, even if it's all by her own, everything, her life is the way that it is. Let's say she's 35 and she's got 13 kids. Either they need to assign some kind of a social worker that helps her, guide her in her life. And even that's not an answer. But maybe she doesn't have the tools to understand that living on welfare is not the right way. You get those kids to work, the kids contribute to the household. Once they start making enough money to run the household, the mother needs to start, she needs to be in school, she needs to, try to find a job, whether it's a trade school, college, whatever it is. She needs to get her act together. But you can't just rely on the government. I mean, welfare and unemployment not Social Security, but welfare and unemployment and various other programs like food stamps, they're meant there as a stopgap to, they're just something to help someone from losing their job, and then whether in a day or in a couple of months, they go, shit, I don't have anything, I'm out of money. What am I going to do? It's just a stopgap to keep them from going onto the streets right away. Having 13 kids on welfare is the same family is better than 13 kids in separate welfare homes. Well, that too, yeah. You want to keep the family together. School, that will not happen. Yeah. But we pay. Compton comes to mind. I will say this. I know of many, many places where there are people with absolutely no kids. They get taxed for the schools in their area, whether they like it or not. They have to pay that tax. Now, is that fair to them? Okay, if you want to contribute to society, yes. But see, not everyone contributes to society equally. Now, what pisses me off is you have somebody like the guy from Amazon, Jeff, what's his name, Bezos? Jeff Bezos. He's making billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. Imagine if he took a few billion and used it for good. Now, I'm sure he does some things. I'm not sure, but I would like to think he does a few things to help. But I don't think he's doing enough. You got guys like him, and guess what? He's not paying much tax or any tax at all. Why not? Why is it the average Joe has to pay tax, but this asshole doesn't have to pay tax? And yet he's able to make billions and billions of dollars. I understand, economically and in free trade and in order to have a business grow and prosper and all these things, it's supposed to help. But it doesn't help. It hinders. Zero tax in Ireland. Great. Parents who have single children cost 10 times more than family with 10 children in a whole lifetime. The amount you pay in property taxes to send your kids to school is a bargain compared to private school. Bill Gates does, and he's accused of insanity, Yeah, I know, and that's why I'm very hesitant to believe everything that's said about Bill Gates. Listen, that guy doesn't have to do a damn thing. I don't think he's some diabolical taskmaster sitting back pulling the strings like the Wizard of Oz, saying, ha ha ha, we're going to put chips in you, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to take over we're going to rule the world. I'm your master. I don't think that's what he's setting out to do. Okay? Listen, I'll give him props. He's got all that money and he still wants to keep making money, and he still tries to use it for supposedly good reasons. If it was me, seriously, listen, I got 5 or 10 million. I have no problem living modestly, living happily ever after, and when I can help people, I will, and this is the thing, okay, I got some grief from people when I went to Nepal because I didn't want to give a particular lady what do you call it? I didn't want to give her a little handout. Because I'd already given a couple people a handout that day. I only had so much money. You know what I mean? Like, I had so much money, and I knew every day I had to give some people money, because there were so many people asking for money. First of all, for my own reasons, I wanted to give at least one or two people like $5. You know, $5-10. That goes a long ways for some people. You know, if it feeds them for a day, they're alive another day because of me. But you know, the bottom line is nobody is required to help anybody from even from really well, from a legal perspective. I mean, you know, I don't think, you know, you have to Dan, let's not go there, all right? How do you know that they're white supremacists? Because people are saying that? I'll believe that they're Antifa before I believe they're white supremacists. What is this? My brother and I have done very well for ourselves, and while our two sisters haven't pulled out of poverty. Yeah, I mean, listen, I dare say that if I lived in the United States, if I had not moved here, I would be better off financially I don't know what that. What is that? What is this guy? I'm Congress. No, you're not Congress. You're gone. I'm Congress, and I'm the president, and I rule the world on this channel, buddy. I'm sorry. What I was going to say is, I made more money living in the United States back then than I make now. I have a different life now. I didn't, and most people don't particularly love stress, and I didn't like the stress I was under with what I did. And I just wanted to change. Well, you got to have some trade-offs. Sometimes you get trade-offs, Could I have become rich? Hey, who knows, man? I mean, very few people truly become rich. Now, rich how? Financially? Rich in experiences? If it's rich in experiences, then yeah, I'm filthy rich. But the bottom line is something has to change. And I think that the U.S. government, not only the U.S. government, many governments, but the U.S. especially, the ruling elite, we'll say, they need to wake up and see that there are some problems, that they can't just keep throwing a little bit, they can't keep throwing these people crumbs and expecting them to say, okay, everything is going to be fine. Yeah, I've been under stress my whole life, now I can't relax. Shit, what do you think? I wake up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning every day. When I go somewhere, wherever it may be, and I'm gone for a couple of days, I'm in a place that's different from, say, home, where everything is normal, it's mundane, it's the usual routine. I can almost feel the tension leave me. Not almost, I can. I can feel the tension leave me, in my shoulders and my neck. Nobody needs stress. It's a part of life, though, you got to deal with it. But that's not the point. The point is that things need to change. We need to figure out some answers. And the government is supposed to be for the people. They're taking $3 trillion out of circulation. Guess what? They're going to take out at least another another trillion. And let me tell you, if you think that coming to Thailand is going to be, the end all, or somewhere else, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Portugal, Philippines, Colombia, wherever, if you think that is the end all, it's not. You're just trading one set of issues and problems for another, and hopefully those problems will be far, and stresses will be far less than where you're leaving. Well, yeah, this is what I mean. This is not just about the George Floyd. The George Floyd was like the cause of it. This was just the straw that broke the camel's back. I have to travel. I feel the need to travel as often as possible. I mean, if I had it my way, I'd be traveling. I'd travel for 2 or 3 weeks. I'd come home. Depending on if I can travel with my family or not. If I travel with them, I can stay longer. But the problem is they have their own lives. It's not a problem, but they have their own lives. I can't always say, oh well, you come with me. I wish I could do more with them. It's not always possible. Not to mention that it costs 3-4 times more. But the traveling part for me is it's I don't know, it's a way to it's a way to escape the stress for a brief period of time. And then you have other like for me, I have other stresses. Think about it. I go to Hong Kong. You think I wasn't stressed out there? I mean, really, I was stressed, man. What people don't know is that I would get back at, say, maybe I stopped streaming it, let's say 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Then I'm staying out there talking to people, hanging out. Maybe I get back at 1 o'clock. Now I'm like, you know what? I got to get these photos right to the editor. I got to get it to him right away. So what am I going to do? Go to sleep? No, I can't go to sleep. I got to sit up there and do everything with them and then send them out, FTP them. And, it's just work. It's just stuff you got to do. So maybe I don't get to sleep till 3 o'clock. And then it's like, oh, I got to meet somebody at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, I'm going to need coffee. So I better get up at like 6 or 7, take a shower, take my sweet ass time, have some coffee, chill out, and then go meet the person or whatever. You know what I mean? So you just trade things in. When I was in Bangladesh, think about it. For whatever reason, I wanted to go to the slum and photograph it. We saw the one woman with the baby. Baby who had, what's it called? It was a thing with swelling of the brain. To me, that was something I really wanted to take care of. To me, that I wouldn't call it a stress, but it was something that I had to do in my mind. I wanted to do it. I wanted to help this person. Encephalitis, yeah. I always think of the one, what's the other one? I forget what it's called, but anyway, I wanted to go there and do something. So, that's why Chuck and I were like, I want to find this lady, and we barely found her and barely found, her and the child, which was great. But the point is that everywhere you go, there's different things. I think it's hydroencephalitis or something like that. It's like swelling and water on the brain, and the head swells up, and they need to drain it, but the child was too far gone for that, so they basically need to just make her as comfortable as possible. Which, when you're laying on a sidewalk, I don't think that child was as comfortable as could be. But anyway, it's not even so much the child and all this other kind of stuff or whatever. The point is that when you go somewhere, it's like, for some people, it's like, I just want to put my toes in the sand and chill out and relax. And then that becomes something that they, think about how many times have you gone on a trip with someone, and it's like so much work just to take the trip that it's not even fun anymore. That happens all the time. Listen, my mother comes to Thailand, and it's like, we need to go here, we need to go there, we need to go here, we need to go there. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I'm like, I had to tell her once, I was like, listen, I'm not used to all this. I take my time waking up. I don't want to wake up every day at 4 and then be out the door at 5. I want to wake up at 4 and tootle around, fiddle around, you know, and at 7, 8 o'clock, then I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. You know, I don't want to stay out all day until 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night, come rolling in and kids are asleep. You know, I just don't like doing that, you know. Yeah, I mean, you know, like I don't... But, you know, the thing is if I go somewhere and I've got a camera or I'm shooting video or whatever, I'm streaming, whatever it may be, there's always something you want to do. You know, and I think right now, I think part of the problem is there's not a whole hell of a lot you can do in some places. You're stuck. Where are you going to go? You know, I hate that phrase, the new normal. I freaking hate it. I think as you get older, your outlook on life changes as your lifestyle changes, because the more you travel the world, the more you are educated about the different lives. Definitely. Travel is, to me, is it's definitely changed me. And I have to say it's changed me for the better, because I try to look at all sides. I try to look at, hey, how would this person feel? Why are they thinking the way that they're thinking? When I was younger, I didn't do that. Even when I first came here, I didn't do that. I didn't care. You know, I was just like, hey, why are they doing it that way? It's kind of stupid. No, maybe they got a reason for it. You know what I mean? I was just thinking this morning about corruption. And how, you know, in the United States and many other places, corruption, and even here, corruption is viewed negatively. But, you know, I think about like when I was in Cambodia and, you know, like some guy pulled me over and he goes, you go too fast. Now I know, I wasn't going too fast. But I give him like, you know, $1 for a Coca-Cola and all of a sudden I was going the right speed. You know. I won't say new normal either. It suggests that we have to accept the way we are. Hey, listen, I heard this group yesterday. I just think it's the coolest music. It's called Grammatik. I think it's a Danish guy, and it's not really my style, my usual style of music. He's changing the little signs in the thing there. It's called Grammatik. I heard the music in the movie yesterday that I watched. This movie I watched yesterday, and now I like the music. And it's more like Jono style, kind of jazzy, hip. It's considered trip hop or something like that, which I never heard of before. You know, I just know I like it. But anyway, your mom is old. Time may be limited. She doesn't have time for wait for your malingering. She doesn't. And, you know, I do worry about my parents. That's a big thing, especially if Thailand is going to make it expensive to get back into the country. And, you know, how long is this going to go on? And, you know, if it just goes on for another 3-4 months, even 6 months, all right, fine. But if it goes on for years and years and years, I don't like the new normal. I never will. This isn't normal. Met my wife there years ago, my favorite place on earth, but we haven't been able to go back for almost 2 years now. Yeah, you know what? I mean, I was really smitten with the Hong Kongers and how polite and how educated and how they went about doing things and just how the city was run. They got their act together. And, you know, listen, you bring in the CCP, and guess what? They're going to screw everything up. They already are starting to. They've made a big dent in that. They've already fouled the place. And, you know, the Hong Kongers hate it. What are you going to do right now? Yeah, that's a big, you know, the whole thing with don't get me started on the CCP. It's bad enough we got our problems in the United States. We can't get along, and yet here we are fighting amongst ourselves. You know, we're fighting amongst ourselves. We're not even worried about the Chinese right now. Well, guess what? We should be, especially right now. So, when you hear the President of the United States bringing out the A word, that's a problem. And you get, for me, I get the impression that his administration is really tiring of all this energy from the left or Antifa or whoever trying to make things worse in the United States. Yeah, that's what I said. He's changing the sign. They do that every once in a while. I haven't seen him do it in a while. Mr. Monash. Mr. Monash. My name is Mr. Monash. What's happening? Let's see here. Now, I did see, I don't know if anybody else saw, the CNN crew getting arrested. Now, you can very clearly hear, and I've seen this happen not only in this video, but several times in Hong Kong and various other places, where people are asking the police, where is it okay for me to stand? Where can I move to? Where should we be? Please tell us where we are allowed to be, and we will go there. And for whatever reason, and you know, I'm not a CNN fan or fanboy by any stretch of the imagination. But when you see the police locking up, well, not locking up, sorry, handcuffing and arresting members of the media. Why were the CNN, not news, arrested? Huh? There were various Reuters, Fox, CNN, all of them have been harassed, and some of them have been arrested by the police in various locations. Why? When you start doing that, that's not a good sign for the country. Apparently 60 Secret Service members have been injured. You know, you get people throwing rocks, throwing bottles. It's like, what the hell are these people doing? This is not about George Floyd. 2 banks were burned down in San Diego. What else here? What else do I got a list of here? Oh, now, I did see, I don't know if anybody saw this, but, and I don't remember where it is, but there was a video of a woman, she was a black woman, but she was a large woman. And this police officer was talking to her. He grabbed her hand, and it looked like he was telling her, put your hands behind your back, I'm going to handcuff you. And she smacked him, or she punched him. She punched him in the face. And he kind of just shook it off, you know. And then he grabbed her again, and she hit him with a left. First she hit him with the right, then she hit him with the left. She punched him. And so she kind of backed away and started mouthing off, and this other cop, you know, she was still kind of aggressive and, you know, acting irrationally. And this other cop, he was a black cop, came up and punched her and knocked her out cold. Out. Now, obviously, the violence on both parts sucks. You know, I've grown tired of everywhere you look, pretty much you can see a video of people getting knocked out, people getting hit, people getting beaten. You got the guy with the sword. He had a sword, and the protesters attacked him, I guess, and they stoned him and beat the living piss out of him, and I think he did die. I'm not sure. But this woman, listen, she punched a police officer twice. What do you want him to do? I'm going to take my taser out and taser you and spend the time and get hit again by you? Or should I fight back? No, he had another officer or officers there, and one of them came up to help. And as the woman hit him, boom, he came up, and the woman started, waving her arms, doing whatever. Boom, hit her once, out cold. And I was like, honey, if you don't punch a police officer, you're not going to get knocked out. They're not going to knock you out. I saw that, yeah. When I was a kid, my father said the military was going to take the country over. He fought in Korea and Vietnam, and he laughed about it. We were not laughing. Yeah, well, I don't know. Martial law could be coming, You don't know. It could be. I need an espresso. Espresso. All right, let's see here. What else? I already talked about, they had to rush Trump underground. You got in Seattle, a security guard disarmed rioters that had stolen an AR. I don't know how many of them. I'd imagine, I think it was only the one guy, had an AR-15 that he stole from the police. And the security guard managed to apprehend the guy. They called 911, got the police. But where does it become acceptable? I don't know. I mean, it's not like the U.S. government has completely taken everybody's rights away, and we don't have any process in place to fight the system. You do. And until that completely falls apart, there's absolutely no reason to do things like, well, I'm just going to punch this officer because they don't think I should be arrested, or they think I should be arrested. I'm just going to steal their machine gun. I'm going to burn their car. In Arizona, taking a swing at a cop gets you 5 to 10 years. Wow. Sometimes I don't understand how every single big city in the United States can be so liberal. I don't know it either. I don't know. I dread thinking about what if I was to punch a Thai police officer or Hong Kong police officer as hard as I could and try to knock them out. What would happen to me once I was subdued? I don't want to think about that, because in my eyes, I get the holy hell beat out of me. Spitting at a cop here gets you a minimum of 6 months. Well, shouldn't looting get you a 5 to 10 year thing? 500 baht in a Y? No, I don't think so. Yeah, maybe after they beat the hell out of me. But if you crack a guy in the face, my guess is they're gonna issue a beating. Okay, you've been issued a beating and a 500 baht fine, and now you're gonna have to apologize. That's probably what's going to happen. So, I am going to be going down to Pattaya this weekend. Everything's all set to go. They'll point at me in a picture. They'll make me point at the guy's black eye or whatever and make me show what I did and reenact it. But anyway, what I'm saying is this weekend I'm going to go to Pattaya. I'll be there for probably 2 nights. That's what we've got planned. 2 nights, 3 days. I don't know what's going on there, honestly. Maybe have a beer or 3. And maybe just, check things out, walk around, see what's open, what's not. But I will stream, and I may stream at night and during. I may stream. I'm going to stream at least once, maybe twice. Stream once in the morning, once at night. So maybe I'll stream Saturday night. I don't know, and then Sunday morning or Monday morning. I don't know. But things are opening up, and no bars, but I should be able to get a beer. I'm hoping I can get a beer at a place where I have a view. So maybe I have to go to a hotel, go to some place that's got like a rooftop bar, pool, view of the ocean, Some of the bar owners in Pattaya are feeding the locals. Nice to see. Yeah, I mean, I think that, maybe because of the divisive, because of because the United States is so diverse, that some of the people don't view themselves as being the same as everybody else, as being Americans. And I don't mean the foreigners, I'm talking about just Americans who they hail from different places, from whether it be their fathers or whether it be their grandfathers or whatever, but it doesn't seem like Americans are quite as nationalistic as, say, Thais. Thais, if I was to walk up to a Thai and say, I'm really hungry, I've been walking for, 10 days or something, or I've been walking for 2 days and I don't have any food and I have to get to my room so I can have money, can you feed me? Yeah, okay, no problem. They would find a way. And I gotta say it, I was thinking, when I went on that walk across Thailand, when I went and walked across Thailand, no, but the thing is that here in Thailand, they really don't have a lot of formal programs that give all that much to the people. It's the people help the people. But when I was walking across Thailand, down there in Prachuap, wherever it was specifically, I was walking along and I'd run out of water or something, and I was a little hungry, but I was tired. I was a little bit tired. I've been walking for hours or whatever. And this woman said to me, "Oh, do you want some of these?" And they were dragon fruit. And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And I took one, and I was like, "How much?" She's like, "No." And then she's like, "Here." She gave me a bag, and I had like 4 of them, right? And I was so thirsty that, in like the course of like 20 minutes, I ate all 4 of them. And I was like, they do that in America too, of course. They're nice people everywhere. But in Thailand, it seems like, diversity is your strength. Here in Thailand, I don't think they feel that way. I think, hey, we are Thai people. That's what they say. And I don't think that they mean that in a derogatory or negative way towards foreigners. I think they mean it as, hey, it is what it is. Now, I don't know if you know, but there was a guy who, apparently he was arrested, an NYU lawyer. He went to Princeton, and he's black. I guess he threw a Molotov cocktail, which is, in the United States, is attempted murder. Now, if he's found guilty, that pretty much means his life is going to be at least temporarily over. He's going to get some years. Which is, a damn shame, because it's not going to help anything. The best that we can hope for is that this is a wake-up call. That this anger, that this frustration, and all these actions of these people, that the protests serve as a wake-up call. The rioting, most people, I would think, are looking at it going, this is uncalled for, it's unacceptable. Because you got some guy who, like I said, he started a bar, it took him all his money. You got somebody else got a print shop. You got somebody else, they got, a clothing store. What about the stores on Rodeo Drive? What do you think? Just because they're high money, high dollar items, that those people haven't put money into their stores to try to make money, and that they maybe didn't put their blood and sweat into that business? So what gives these people the right to go and bash these windows and burn the places down and steal? There is no reason. There is no justifiable reason. And you know, I hate to sound cliche, but two rights don't make a wrong. Please stream as much as possible. You know, I have other things that I need to do. You know what I mean? Like, I like to stream. Obviously, now I'm getting into streaming more than I used to. And for the most part, I like it. You know. The USA is the greatest social experiment of the, absolutely the greatest powerhouse. Pent-up anger needs a place to release. Okay, there are cases of people saving other people's lives and getting sued by them. That happens in China all the time. It happens in the United States too. Some people are assholes. Maybe some people have justifiable reasons. I don't know. But if you save somebody's life and then they sue you, it seems a bit foolish to me. It seems like, you know, they don't have a case. A lot of people are permanently angry. There is no release. Get on a big speaker and say, breathe in, breathe out. That should do it. Yeah, that'll do it. I'm going to get a little bedazzled speaker and walk around town. That's what I'm going to do. Anyway, where are we at? Wow, it's only an hour and a half. Time's flown. Some states have a Good Samaritan law, so they can't sue. Yeah. Dig in your Marshall t-shirt. Oh, well, thank you. An evil cop does commit a horrible crime, and it's disgusting as an American to see. However, large groups in big cities just use it as an excuse to plunder, steal, riot, and be unlawful. Definitely. I agree with you 100%. It's an opportunity. And therein lies the difference between the people in, say, Hong Kong who have attacked or vandalized property of pro-Beijingers, pro-CCP, or CCPers. That's the difference. They do it because they're trying to overthrow, they want their freedom, they want their democracy. They don't want to be under the thumb of a communist government. And this is one way they know how to do it. Where these other people basically are just trying to steal, they're trying to destroy, and some of them think it's funny. I mean, really, it's funny? Then you're an idiot. What is Thailand like without tourism? Less farang around? Breathe in. What do you think? There's no foreigners coming into the country, but you know what? I don't hang around a lot of foreigners like tourists. Most of the people I hang out with are not tourists. They're longtime expats, or they're people who stay here part-time or whatever, you know, but I don't worry about the tourism industry as far as it relates to me. As it relates to others, yeah, I mean, the tourism, it's a big problem right now. However, yeah, Thailand will be fine. I think even without the tourism, Thailand will be fine because these people are, very, like I said before, they're very pragmatic. They will do what's necessary, and it may take some time, but eventually, I think they're strong people. They'll survive, and they'll make it back. There's a farang sitting in Starbucks. You talking about me? Thailand was fine before tourism, and it'll be fine without it, which has created a false security. They will be fine now. However, it is harder to go back to a more agrarian. Yeah, nobody said it would be easy. Listen, this is the thing. Nobody said life is easy. And, you know, I mean, you may have to shit in a hole in the ground for the rest of your life in some places. You got to get over it. Listen, it sucks. I hate it. but I don't want to be negative all the time. And personally, I think the new normal, they can stick it up, where the sun don't shine, because I hate that phrase. This ain't normal. This is abnormal. Did they open already? No, not yet. They don't open until 11 during the week, but I thought that was going to change today, but obviously not now. It looks like they changed the stickers now. When they removed the Pledge of Allegiance from public grade schools, that had a huge negative impact. And teach to be proud to be American. Yeah, I mean, what the hell? I mean, that's been, when I was a kid, we had the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. I mean, I don't get it. Thailand will rebound. I want to help Thailand rebound. Let me in. Jono is, he's all right. He's just chilling, Got the leg up. He's, supposed to have surgery, I guess. I don't know if it's this week or next week, but I dare say it's probably not a real tough surgery. It's a little minor cut. Nowadays, they don't have to cut very, very much. But, we'll see. Lots of Farang immigrants here in the kingdom, high-quality expats. They've chosen this country as their home. Jono tripped and fell and twisted his knee and ripped a tendon in his knee. I mean, I hang out with expats, and I don't hang out with expats that, have their whole lives are centered around bars or women, chicks in bars, that kind of stuff. I don't hang out with those kind of guys. I just don't, it's like, listen, I've been in that scene before when that scene was really a scene. Now it's quite a bit different, Much more about the money than it used to be. And because I speak Thai, I understand a little bit more than I did when I first came over here, which is to be expected. You learn, and you maybe because I stuff them with what? Stuff them with wipes. Public toilets have rebounded in Billy's absence. Yeah, well, that too. Listen, I got one of those that lives in my house. His name is Nicholas. He is constantly clogging the toilet. I'm like, what is it about you, kid? Why are you always clogging the toilet? And I'm serious. You might want to have a chat with him there, Mr. Longhorns. You've got experience in that area, so. Oh, shit. Now it's just hottie spotting. There are degrees of temperature and heat. There's big fire explosion. You don't see many of them too often. There's warm, and then there's hot to the touch. The bar trap gets a lot of guys. A wise man knows that it's Loserville, to each his own, but for hanging the bars, everything. Maybe his, oh God, I don't want to think about that, all right? As far as the people who come here, listen, there's people who, they have a habit of going and having a drink, a couple times a week or even every night. It's their place to go. And they have no issues because they know, listen, the truth of the matter is, if you want to come to Thailand and you want to get involved with somebody who is a prostitute working in a bar, most people who don't have any knowledge of the culture are going to have a real hard time making that relationship work. If, for instance, you know a fair amount, you're a pretty solid dude who you don't just cave into every woman that you see because she's got a pair of nice tits or something. In other words, you're a man, a real man. You don't need to You know, you don't feel the obligation to cater to every woman and give her your money because, you know, she really needs it and she needs my help. I don't know what to do. You know, you know, then maybe you have a chance of making it work. I'm not saying you can't. All I've said in the past is that it's not very smart to come over and you don't really listen. I think it's stupid for a guy to come to Thailand. He's only been here like once or twice. He comes over and he comes over, spends a couple of weeks, says to himself, I'm moving to Thailand. Then he decides he's going to put it into play. And he does move to Thailand. Then what's the first thing he does? I'm going to move to Pattaya. Okay, that's pretty smart. You know, if you don't know anything about the country and you go to Pattaya, some of those girls will eat you up. They will chew you up, spit you out, and laugh in your face and think nothing of it. Because it's business, baby. It's all about the business. You know. Hey, if you're they look at you as if you're stupid enough to give them whatever they want, that's your problem, not theirs. Can't blame a girl for wanting to, you know, make a buck. You know what I'm saying? Small minority of Farang have horror stories of losing everything and getting booted in the end. Most of us know better than to. Well, I'm sorry, Thomas. There's not a small amount. I mean, I can't tell you how many letters I used to get. It just. And how many times I've been in the bar and you know, seen some guy with some straight up hardcore hoe professing his love for her, telling me he's going to get married to her. And he doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. And I mean, he doesn't speak a freaking word of Thai, or he doesn't have a pot to piss in, or whatever it is. And this guy's talking about marrying this girl. He's known her for 2 weeks, or he's known her for 2 days. That shit happens a lot. Now, I haven't seen it recently because I don't go to the bars, but I still hear about it. You know, yeah, the chowderhead psychiatrist. I don't want to be that psychiatrist. I don't get paid enough to be that freaking psychiatrist. Seriously. Even then, I didn't get paid enough for it. There's an observation tower in Jomtien. You can go up, take a cable ride down. Yeah. What will it take to get you to take that ride? I don't know. Timing. I could say money, but it's not about the money for that. I mean, that's not all that expensive, but it depends on what my buddies want to do, and, you know, it may happen. I don't know. I do know about that place, but I haven't. I didn't even give it much thought. I haven't given much thought to what I'm going to do there. The most long stay expats. I'm not talking about tourists. Well, I'm talking about tourists. Expats don't become expats and stay here for a long time and have nothing but problems with women. They either learn or they end up with nothing. Yeah, there are a dozen channels. Well, you know, listen, if I really wanted to make the channel grow, I could go, you know, into the bars. I could figure something out. I could even negotiate with the bar owners and, you know, stream and, you know, make it a TNA channel. I don't want to do that. I never have. I don't care, you know. And it's not necessarily because, oh, I feel for the girls and, oh, I don't, you know, I don't really want to do the whole sexy thing, you know. It's not about that. I just don't want to do it. You know, sometimes you get a feel, I just don't feel like it. I don't want to, you know. I don't want to have two channels, Tom. Why? For what? What do I need two channels for? One is enough work. I don't think some people realize how much I need to do. Yeah, but he wanted to do what he wanted to do. Everybody's different. They want to do whatever they do, and that's fine. I don't want to do that kind of stuff. I don't really care. I don't care about the women. And I haven't cared about them even before I was married. I didn't give a shit about them. I'll be like, hey, once I'm done, then what? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna take you home with me forever? And I'm gonna have another child? Is that what it's gonna be? I'm gonna have a child. I'm gonna take you home and I'm gonna have to take care of you for the rest of my life. And you're gonna do what? Clean the house? You know what I mean? All right, man, take it easy. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I just never have, once I got past the whole, wow, man, I can have as many chicks as I want. I can have, and, you want 5 chicks in a day? No problem. You want one coming in the front door, going out the back? No problem. You can have it. Whatever you want. As long as you got some dough and you got some game, you get the freebies, you get the ones for pay, you get, you can do whatever you want here. It can be a great thing as long as you keep your wits about you. The problem is most people don't. Most guys don't. And the thing too now is that the younger guys, they have more problems to stay here a lot longer. It's not as easy as it used to be. So you get older guys, and the older guys are not as apt to just, they're like, screw that. I've been working all my life. I'm not giving this chick all my money. I got that video up, the one, if you look at, I think I know it's the video that I put up where I was going over this movie that I saw about this guy. I forget his name and the girl's name, but like, he met the girl in a bar. They spent some time together. He couldn't get her out of his mind. Went back to the UK, called her up and said, oh, baby, I miss you. Sold everything he had, moved back to Thailand, bought a pig farm, didn't want to work at it with her. He didn't want to work the farm, just wanted to sit there and drink beer. And then he ran out of money, and she was like, listen, dude, what do I need? I need you to sit here and like bug me for money from the pig farm that you bought so that you can sit here and drink and never help me? And she was like, you're out of here. Booted him. And that one video I think it's got almost 900,000 views or something. That's the highest number of views I have on any of my videos. Yeah, I mean, think about that. I'm gonna move to Thailand and buy a pig farm. You love me long time? They're getting ready to open up here. They're lining up. Oh, actually, they're lining up, but they still got another 15 minutes. I don't know why they're lining up yet. Well, a lot of them don't want to leave you alone because they're scared you're going to hook up with some other chick. Listen, when I first came over here, I had this chick who, she was a very nice girl. I got to say that. She was a nice person. She always treated me really, really well. And I didn't, if I gave her any money, it was like, how much do you need? She'd be like, oh, it's going to cost us this and that. And I said, okay, so say, okay, how much do you need? 3,000 baht, okay, And that would pay for, like, for us to go somewhere. I just go, here's some money. And she'd go, okay, now we're taking, you don't have to worry about anything. Or if I wanted to go buy something, she would help me and make sure I got a good price or something like that. Nice girl. But, like, after you spend a little time and this ain't my culture. I don't know the culture that well. And it's hard for them to get air between their legs, so you got to be careful. Yeah, exactly. Bar girls can't eat love. I can't eat your love. That's what it is. I can't eat your love. Honey, I love you so much, but I can't eat your love. Oh, that's terrible. I mean, it's true if you think about it. Like I said, they're very pragmatic. I love you, honey. Yeah, but I can't eat your love. You know, what are you going to do? That guy was an idiot. He was an idiot. Now, I should say that I went to this place. It was in Sakeo, which is on the border of Cambodia. And, you know, I met the whole family and everything. And she said to me, listen, you can't sleep here. You can't sleep in the same room with me. My parents will never allow me to do that. They didn't know what she was doing, right? Okay. So she got me a hotel, you know, in the city or whatever. And she had a little motorbike. She would take me in. I stayed there a couple of days. And she would come over to the hotel, like, you know, in the morning. We'd have some fun, do our thing. And then in the afternoon, she would bring me over to the house. We'd have dinner, hang out, and we'd get late. We'd drink. And then most of the time, like all but one night, she took me back to the hotel, stayed with me there at the hotel for a while. And then early in the morning, like, you know, like 1 or 2 in the morning, she would go back home. But one night, I did spend the night, and all I remember is drinking Lao Khao and waking up in a hammock with people laying around, like her brother and, you know, family members all laying around. You know, they were hungover. Everybody was hungover. Now that I remember. And, you know, she actually told me, she said to me, listen, you're a nice guy, I like you, and I don't want your money. I don't think you love me. I don't love you. You know, I like you, you like me, but, you know, it's not love. She said, you know, I think it's probably better we don't see each other because, you know, I don't want to take your money. She's like, you're a nice guy. I don't want to take your money. I don't want your money. If anything, I want us to be together. And I was like, well, that ain't going to happen. I knew she wasn't, you know, like the one or a one or something like that. And so, you know, I think I saw her one time because I would see her sister around. And because she used to live down there in Sukhumvit where I used to live. But I never saw her again. You know, name was Tui. I still remember. That's the first Thai chick that I got to know. And she spoke like real broken English, you know. So, you know, you come here, man, you just, first of all, it's going to be harder to get back here. It's going to be more expensive to get back here. And what are you going to do? You know, you're going to hook up with some chick and you know, a spit of, what? I spit a drop of Lao whiskey on my leg. It burned. Don't you use Lao Khao to clean car parts? They use it for a lot of stuff, but when you're out there, you know, on the farm, and you're eating kajio musap, and sticky rice, and gayang, and, you know, mutok katiam, you know, the pork with garlic, and all this kind of stuff. And they're like, here, have a little bit of this. And you're like, what's this? Oh, wow. You drink it, and then you're like, oh, can I have some more, please? Can I have another one? And then you're like, oh, it's just all right, man. And, you know, after a couple of little shots of that stuff, then you're like, okay, I want another one. I like that girl's shirt. If you can see it, the tie-dye shirt over there. It says, fake you. Hey, fake you, buddy. Also, good prep for a colonoscopy. I don't know. I mean, I've had it a couple times. And I had some in the, what do you call it? In the Kong Tui. It's good stuff, man. You get used to it, you know? But anyway, the one thing I am very grateful for, despite some of the issues that are going on here, is I don't have to go through dealing with rioters and being, you know, wondering, am I in the wrong part of town? And, you know, the United States is, to me, from the outside looking in, It's not exactly in a good spot right now. It's more of a little screwed up. They need to make some major changes. And, you know, changing a government doesn't happen overnight. So, anyway, let's take I'll give you guys another look out here for a second. And by the way, the Thai baht is a little bit stronger. The dollar is down from 30.82 to 30.76, which is not much. But how is it 30 point? Geez, Louise, it was 31 not long ago. So, yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah, 30.76. Oh, they're cooking something here now, and it smells good. Now I'm going to show you guys something. There's the people waiting to get in. It feels good to get out of the house, though, I can tell you that right now. I was thinking about going down to Sukhumvit in a couple of days. It got to 33, Larry. It got all the way up to 33, over 33, which was great, you know. I'll just let you guys take a little look at the action here, or lack of action. Gennaro, what kind of, just wondering, what kind of barista would you like? A more youthful barista or an older barista? Because the barista here today is all of 22 years of age. 22. I was like, it seems like you've worked here for years. And she's like, I've only worked here for 2 years. Here we got the whole, I'm gonna just, let's see here. Oh, they got another 5 minutes before they're gonna get in. You got the whole gang. And they don't let people in early. All right. Anyway. You know that I'm kidding about the baristas, but, well, everybody's kidding until they get put in that predicament where, hey, maybe I'm not kidding. Maybe this is a reality. Listen, I got stories, but I can't tell them publicly. You know, you'd be surprised. It's just a different mentality, you know. And actually, speaking of mentality, I think in the United States, I think people are going to have to learn that, and people in power is what I mean. They're going to have to change their mentality. They're going to have to understand that the way they're doing things sometimes is not right. It's not going to work, and they're not. You know, it's like they're a bull in a china shop. That doesn't work. It doesn't always work. Sometimes it works. You know, sometimes you want to you make a 2-yard gain, you get the fullback who just crushes everybody, and he's only good for 2 or 3 yards, you know, because he's 275 pounds or something. But, you know, if you need to dart in and out, you don't get the same guy to do the job. It's the same thing. Everybody's wearing their masks, too. They're all wearing their masks. It's very chill. Chill is what I like. See, when I get back to my house is chilled, but like it's it's monotonous. You take the same route to the bathroom. You take the same route, you go in and out different places. All right, we'll do it this way. I'll let you look at Texas chicken. Or whatever you want to look at. Alrighty. Everybody has masks on. Are the malls there open? Oh, I see a chick with no mask on. Oh, she's putting it on though. Hey, thanks, Monash. Thanks a lot, man. Time for another flat white. Another flat white. Yeah, listen, I it's not that big of a deal really, but for me it's a big deal because I haven't been really anywhere since I was in Hong Kong. And I didn't think I wanted to go back to Hong Kong so much. But now after seeing everything going on, I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe I would like to go. And then seeing what's going on in the United States, I'm like, well, maybe I need to get back sooner than later. But you know what? It's still really difficult to get back into Thailand. It's impossible right now, but as of July 1st, it may become easier, depending on if they, stick to what they say or not. I don't know. But just going to Pattaya, it'll be a nice change. Just to take a break from Bangkok and just to show you guys something different, And there may be a few people I'm with, so we may be able to have a little group stream. I don't know. We'll have to see. So appreciate everybody watching. Everybody who's donated, everybody who's contributed to what I'm doing, I really appreciate it. And unless we got something else to talk about, I think this stream has run its course. Unless somebody has something they feel like discussing. Yeah, I think the stream's run its course, and I wasn't going to stream today, but I was like, hey, how many of those temperature checking guys are fake? How are the guys fake? You mean the test's fake or not correct? Carnivore diet's going good. This morning I had I had an omelet this morning with bacon. With bacon, yeah. Have a nice, safe trip to Pattaya. Choke the chicken mai. Yeah, so we'll have a safe trip, hopefully. We're using the same girl that took me the last time. She was very nice. She's got a place down there. She just stays down there. She'll wait for us to come back. We got everything set up for that. We got a place to stay. We got a couple people we can see, and I like to go a couple places, so we'll see. We'll do a little walk around, check things out, see what's open, what's not. That'll be interesting. I know there's people in Pattaya probably doing that already, but who knows if we go to the same place or whatever, and we'll see. So now, see, the majority of people are pretty much in. They've already checked in. Now, one good thing that I didn't know about is that you can use here in Bangkok and all over. They have this thing called the M card for the malls, and you can actually check in with the M card before you even go in. You check in. So you don't have to get scanned and do everything if that's how you want to do it. But anyway, please click like. Please share this stream. Leave a comment if you got a comment or you think of something afterwards or whatever, or you watch this afterwards. Yeah, please leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Visit my website at americaninbangkok.com. Everything's in the description. And it looks like that is the end for me for now. So maybe I'll see you later this week, or maybe I'll see you. I'll see you when I see you. Thank you, Mr. Monash. Yeah, exactly. Someone's always worse off. And as long as you got a roof over your head and food and you're healthy, you can only complain so much. And it's easy to complain. I understand. But yeah, I don't know when I'll stream again. I'll see you when I see you. But I am looking forward to the Pattaya stream, so hopefully everybody will join me then at least. And I'll try to put get the notification out a couple days in advance once I figure out when I'm going to stream. So until next time, I am Scott, and I am an American. Right now I'm in Bangkok, so talk to you guys later. See you later, Gennaro.